And I'm talking about none other than the one and only Mr. Jprince, the mogul himself, who for 35 years has promoted not only the Houston rap scene, but Texas and the world there beyond, working in underprivileged communities, neighborhoods, and the like. And one of the things that I want to start off our conversation with is keeping your word. That's been something that's been important to you since 1976 and there beyond. And you kept true to that and stayed true to that and done that in all of your business activities and most importantly, your personal relationships that you built. Every single person that I researched and even folks that I reached out to in the city said, James Prince, little J Prince, he keeps his word. He says
Yeah,
what he means what he says. He's about the real. And I just
yeah.
wanted to ask you, where does that come from? Where does that emanate from? And why is that a staple in not only your personal, but your business endeavors as well?
Yeah, I think it came from my bloodline. You know what I mean? I would have to go to my genetics. You know, I come from a family that is solid like that on keeping that word. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I believe in honoring my word, and you know, it's an interesting thing about your word. Your word follows you everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, and I understand that to be true. So, uh, yeah, that's everything to me, man. I mean, it's hard to build anything without having a word. Matter of
Absolutely.
fact, if you don't have no word, you're gonna have a moment over a movement.
Mm, mm. And
Yeah,
that's profound that you said that because that leads me to one of the great things that you talk about in diffusing confusion. And that's been a staple of not only your personal practices, but your business endeavors is uniting people, bringing people together to find commonalities. Even when you brought Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sr. together and trying to find an amicable way for them to work out their differences what you did with Drake and Pusha T. As a matter of fact, this is one of your quotes that you share. You say, this is a perfect opportunity to exercise or execute our unity where we don't allow moment thinkers to muddy the water over the movement. I really
yeah,
love for you to etch that into the minds of those that are listening and tapping in because what you're doing now with the loyalty wines is not only something that will engage people for that moment of elation and vibration and enjoying the adult libation, but it's also creating a movement that's moving people to do something, to think beyond the box of just music, to think beyond the boxes that sometimes Black men are associated with, and going into different spheres and different dynamics of business, as well as giving a product that exceeds expectations exponentially. So I really love for you to talk about how we have to create movements, and then those movements have to be tied into something that's greater than just ourselves, me, myself, and I. As you say, we always deal with we. You don't take the credit. You focus on the team and building everyone up together. So I'd love for you to talk about that and etch that into the minds of those that are tapping.
my brother. Yo, yo,
Yeah, can you hear me?
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you perfectly.
For some reason, I'm getting a lot of static in the line.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Say that again.
Can you hear me now? No, it don't look like you can hear me.
Maybe I should hang up and call right back. What you think?
Hey, it's whatever you want to do. If you can
Yeah,
do
cause
that,
we was on to something good there. Let me do that. Cause right now I'm just it's staticky.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, there
Well,
now there it is. That's cool. I hear you now.
okay, great, great. It
So
worked out
so
perfect.
yeah. So what I understood you saying, you was speaking over the moment, the movement over the moment, and
Correct.
you absolutely right about everything you're saying, and you know it was that mentality that I embraced when I decided I wanted to live. You know what I mean? Because I understood that the lifestyle that I had was a moment lifestyle, and I understood that I wouldn't be here long if I didn't decide to embrace longevity. And my reasons for embracing longevity was because of I want to be here for my kids, man, and that's what we're dealing with today where a lot of this killing is taking place. People making the wrong choices when it comes to the movement over the moment. Because, if you choose that moment, you have to understand the risk and different things that's wrapped around that moment. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So one have to really exercise wisdom, man, knowledge and understanding along with just choosing, I want to be here.
Mhm.
When you wake up in the morning as a rapper, as any person, your objective should be to make it back home to
Mhm.
your loved ones. You know what I mean? So this is as cliche as it might sound, the word choices are so important, man, when we are making them. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? We have
Yes,
to
sir.
really think about them, man, before we just jump and just get to doing things just at the spur of a moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I love how you bring up the word choices because that was something that you told your brother, Sir Rap a lot. And you
yeah,
told him every single day we have
yeah,
a choice and a chance.
yeah. Chance and a choice.
That's right. That's right. And
Yeah,
and one of the things that I think is so important is that when your mother put you on that bus and you went
yeah,
to Pleasant Grove, you made
yeah,
the choice to take the chance to step out on faith. And that
yeah,
faith has led you through fighting against all of the alphabet boys. We're talking about the FBI, the
yeah,
DEA, the CA,
yeah,
from Shoemaker to all of these different entities that tried to get in your way from the record labels, from Bob Arum, from Floyd Mayweather, soon everyone that was against you, you
yeah,
kept that in your mind of knowing that you can always make a choice. And if you make the correct choice, then
yeah,
chances are you'll create greater opportunities. One of the things that I wanted to bring up really quickly, dear brother, and I thank you so much for your time because I think that this conversation is really going to touch some people. One of the things that sticks out to me in your work and your book, which is a masterpiece, and there are other people that have said it as well, and I love how you created it independently. You did that on your own. When they
yeah,
said to you, hey, we're going to give you 25% or 20%,
yeah,
you said, no,
yeah,
no, that's not me, man. You don't understand who I am. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And I
exactly.
think that that comes and that emanates from the fact that you said your dream, as a child when you were on Coach Street. And I had an opportunity to work at Fifth Ward in Richmond, so I know exactly where Coach Street is. I know
Yeah,
exactly where Limes is. I know
yeah,
exactly where the Fifth Ward is and the Bloody Nickel is.
yeah,
And because of this dream that you had, you ended the cycle of poverty. And there was no blueprint for you to make it out. And I love this quote. You say, a lot of times you may grow up looking at the wrong thing, thinking that's the way to go. And I
yeah,
really want people to understand that not only are you a businessman, like I was telling one of my brothers today, they were like, oh man, he's an exceptional businessman. I said, no, he is a mastermind
yeah,
because what he went through to get to where he is out of the fifth ward, out of a place and space in which poverty, deprivation, and oppression, repression, and suppression is everywhere. You
mhm,
didn't let that stop you, and you pressed upon to make something great out of yourself. So I really want you to talk about the fact that getting on that bus, having that faith, going through a lot of difficult situations, caused you not to give up on yourself, but to strengthen yourself to
yeah,
ferment and find a way to accomplish your dreams. I really want you to
yeah.
lay that down.
You, my mother is dead and gone right now, but I can't thank her enough for putting me on that bus, getting me a spiritual foundation. You know what I mean? Even though she didn't go with me, she put me on that bus. And that gave me a spiritual foundation, man. That gave me something where when the storm came through, I wasn't easy to blow left or right because I learned that if God be for me, the world could be against me.
Mhm.
That caused me to not embrace fear. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it's so important as parents. We have no idea what it means to uh, take our kids or make sure our kids get a spiritual foundation. You know what I mean? It could be the essence of who they become, how they turn out, and everything. You know what I mean? It's part of the shaping and molding of their character that's needed. You know, for the storms of this rootless world.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean? So, I mean, I can't thank her enough for that. Now, what was the other part of the question?
Well, the other part of the question was, and it kind of leads us into this quote that you say, a wise man is quick to listen and
Yeah,
slow to speak. A
yeah,
person will tell you everything you need to know about them if you
yeah,
listen and have the patience to hear them out. And that's been one of the staples of not only your personal practices, but your business. And I guess we lost, I think he's still hanging on. But the thing that I thought was really unique was even going back to Big Carl or James Ryan. You figured people out by listening to them, by really understanding what they were going through. And you use that to your advantage, not only from a personal relationship standpoint and interpersonal skills, but from a business standpoint of being able to capitalize upon the situation and making your next move your best move. I really wanted you to talk about not only with this new venture in terms of the wine, which is named apropos loyalty, but more specifically, talk about how you were able to use these great principles and attitudes to build healthy relationships, which led to positive situations for you to create business and make even more money and opportunities for yourself.
yeah. Okay, I missed a whole lot of the first part of that question because of the static,
Yeah,
but and just say that real quickly so I can hear you.
got you. So basically, I really want people to understand that it wasn't an accident that you got out of Fifth Ward or that you were able
Yeah.
to amass so much money.
Okay.
You
Okay.
understood how to deal with people, and you
Yeah.
took the time to learn the people that you were engaging with so that you could strategize and create opportunities to make your next move your best move. I really
Yeah.
want people to understand that because in this social media instant gratification era, people are so quick to speak and post and type that they don't take the time to think and strategize.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
You can
Can
hear
you
me?
hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Well, a lot of people think they may call me lucky, right? A lot of people want your glory without knowing your story.
Mm,
And I'll be the first to tell you, wasn't no luck where I was concerned. You know what I mean? If I had to give credit to anything, I would give credit to blessings because I am a blessed individual. But it's some things I had to do. It's some choices I had to make to be in the seat that I sit in today. And I will begin. I will begin, and I just about could end. You know what I mean? Who I became and everything based on my spiritual growth, man. You know what I mean? It's nothing that I ever wanted to accomplish in life goal wise that I didn't exercise the principles of prayer. You know
mm,
what I mean? That's something that's free for all of us. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think there's something weak about a man that believe in God or a man that praise him.
mhm.
So let me just say that those people are some of the biggest fools I ever met on the planet. You know what I mean? Because here's a creator who created this whole universe. Why wouldn't you want to have a relationship with him,
Correct.
someone who is the author of all the blessings? But by far, it wasn't no luck where I was concerned, man. Everything I wanted to be and become, I dreamed it, I
Mm,
imagined it, and then I executed it through my work ethics, my deeds.
facts.
You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. Not only a lot of people have dreams, but very few are willing to chase them, are willing to get up in the morning, and willing to make the sacrifices and whatnot to say, okay, I'm gonna bring this to reality. And
Facts.
that's what it's about. You either plan to fail or you fail to plan.
Facts. Facts. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, and I think that many people don't understand this, is that you started out, cutting grass, raising chickens, selling eggs, and even strategizing to be able to get into wholesale marijuana before you could drive a car. And
Yeah.
knowing you probably was driving a car at 11 and 12. You probably doing. And the thing that stuck out to me, that hit me the most, was in spite of the fact that you had asked your mother to move with your grandmother after, and God rest her soul, your
Yeah.
sister's demise. And I
Yeah.
can imagine leaving football practice and seeing your sister, being hit by a train. And I'm not bringing this up to make you feel bad. I promise. I'm bringing this up to show and shed light on the power of the human spirit and how powerful you are. Is
Yeah.
it that you were able to see her in spirit and and in dreams, and you didn't let that stop you, but you
Yeah.
moved with your grandmother, and then when she would take you to see your uncle on that 2 hour ride, you said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me some land.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fulfill, I'm gonna keep my word. Going back to that, I'm gonna keep my word, and I'm gonna get my mother the vacuum cleaner that my sister said she
Yeah.
was gonna get, and I'm gonna get
Yeah.
her that house, and I'm gonna get
Yeah.
her land, and I'm gonna take care of my family. So I really want to etch this in people's mind, because when people talk about Jprince, they talk about the most feared man in Texas, or some big rap mogul, and I'm like, you're beyond, because
Yeah.
you are a spiritual force that use the principles of Think and Grow Rich, which is one of your favorite books,
Yeah.
to be able to manifest the life that you're living now. So it wasn't by accident, as you say, it was by design. And I really want
Yeah.
you to take some time to let people know that when you bring out loyalty wine, when you bring out the things that you're bringing out, you're not just doing this to make a dime. No, you're
Yeah.
doing this because you want to elevate minds, and you want to tap into how the divine is using you. So I really want people to understand that, so they'll know that they can do that too.
Yeah. Brother, I could tell you read my book, man, and you know what I mean. That's a great thing, because I hope many others will read it and feel what you're feeling right now. You know what I mean? Because you are only able to ask me these kind of questions with the passion that you're asking me, because you read my story and you understand that it's so much bigger than the little platform they try to put me on a lot of times. So that it lets me know you're a man of wisdom as well. But you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. Uh, I can't be put in no box. You know what I mean? The blessings and what my journey consists of. I was a dreamer, man, from all the way from the beginning, man. From 7, 8 years old, I knew that something was on me. I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how to recognize that I was different, but I knew I was different. You know
Right.
what I mean? And all the time, many are called, few are chosen. All the time, I was a chosen one. And I just had to catch up with who I was. You know
Right.
what I mean? Get in tune with my spirit and different things. And that's kind of where I'm at today. That's kind of why, I explain to people the importance of, sharing with your kids access beyond the hood. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because it was even riding to the penitentiary. You think about that. I'm riding to a penitentiary, looking out the back window of my grandmother's car, looking at land, and I start dreaming about owning land. Now today, I own land all around the world, thousands of acres, islands, and everything. But look where it started from. A
Right.
ride to the penitentiary. You know what I mean? A ride outside of the hood. You know, just sharing with me something different to see and to believe in. So these type of things, man, are so heavy, and if we would, exercise these principles with our young ones, get them the exposure to the right things, and readers are leaders, brother. You know what I mean? If it's one thing I wish I would have done more of as a kid, if somebody made me read more. You know
Wow.
what I mean? Yeah,
Wow.
I wish that, man.
Wow. It's funny that you say that, because at one time you didn't like reading. That wasn't
Yeah.
something that you enjoyed.
No,
And
no.
it's interesting that you're bringing up reading, because I love to read something from the foreword of your book, and your book is The Art and Science of Respect. It is a must read. And if you don't like reading, you can get the audio book. And I'm going to ask you a question that probably nobody else has asked you. is that were you nervous to read your own story? Because it was almost like you were reliving it of sorts. And I can tell by the passion that you put in, because I've done an
Yeah.
audio book before, it's not an easy undertaking.
Yeah.
And to read your own words and to experience those experiences, like talking about how you found out your name was Prince,
Yeah.
or to deal with, going to Maxine Water to try to protect, going to Janet Reno to try to protect your life.
Yeah.
All these different events that you had to read and write about in your memoir. What was that like, bringing that to you and thinking about that and feeling that emotion? And then also, what was it like to have individuals that you respect have so much respect for your work?
Yeah, it was really challenging because a lot of things that I had swept under the rug that I thought I was healed from,
Mhm.
came back to the surface where I still felt, what I mean, the pain, the emotions. I went to places that I hadn't been in a long time, such as the place where I last saw my sister alive. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So I went visit all of these places, and as I was reading all of this, I'm like reliving all of this, not knowing that I would feel it the way I was feeling it. You know what I mean? So there's a fact, when people haven't went to psychiatrists and different things when these extraordinary events, take place in our life, that has to do with death and situations like that, you know, you can be traumatized
Mhm.
to a certain extent. And, through all of that, I was able to come out like I came out. But, I can't give no credit to nobody but the creator where that's concerned. But on the other piece of the question, it's always a beautiful thing to be respected. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing to give respect, because I'm so big on receiving it. That ain't no one way thing. You know what I mean? You can't ask somebody to respect you and you don't want to give it in return. So it's a even scale where I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
facts. And I want to bring this out because many people don't know this. They just think that you started the Houston scene, but what is not known is that you are one of the progenitors of not only Southern hip hop, but in terms of the independent music scene, you are in the forefront of that, my brother. Because what you did is, and many people don't know this, is that you studied with the likes of Russell Simmons and Lauren Cohen and things of that nature. But you didn't follow in their footsteps in terms of just getting a production deal. No, you actually owned outright your entity. And in
Yeah.
this day and this time, in which many people are talking about ownership, people don't give the proper credit and the due just unto you for actually not only talking about it, but living it and then finalizing the blueprint. Do
Yeah.
you ever sit back and think to yourself, I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of this thing. I don't get the respect that I deserve. I mean, you get respect, but people don't properly contextualize what you represent in the culture and how important Rap a Lot is not only to the hip hop scene, but to the musical and the business landscape as well.
Yeah. Well, some things are fact, and you're right on point where that's concerned. It's just a fact that the East Coast and West Coast, a lot of those guys was doing production deals. The whole own your master blueprint, the whole independent 100% record label owned situation started and came from the South down here. You know what I mean? I have to give Luke credit as well because Luke was one of the only ones that I know was doing that, what I mean, right after I got started.
Yes,
So
sir.
we definitely blazed that trail, unlike, the other guys, they had these major record labels putting up their money and doing things and reaping the benefits of ownership where all their masters and different things was concerned. But you have to realize, like, I came up, my hustle in the street was different from those guys as well. So with my hustle in the street being different, it gave me a whole different mentality. The way my hustle had to be different in the music world as well. And I didn't know it no other way other than starting my own empire and being the captain of my own ship, because I was thinking about my kids, my grandkids being able to eat off of what I was doing, like they generations of the major record label owners. I realized real quickly that, oh, they have a generation edge, head start on us. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with great grandkids of
I receive.
Sony and all these different people.
Right. Facts. I have to ask you this because you bring up the streets. And we see so much happening in the streets with violence, and even some of our young and up and coming talent like King Von and Mo3, being gunned down and senseless violence. You as being an OG, and I love what you say. You say if youngsters would pay more attention to the OGs and less the IG, then maybe we'd be in a better situation. There'd be a lot more peace in the streets. And I think that's important to say. But as an OG, as somebody who has credence and respect like maybe no other, what is your message to the young people who are seeing things and hearing things that you would say and you coin would be street naivete and don't have a proper understanding of the code of the streets and what the streets really represent? What would you say to them right now to help direct them, help guide them, and help show them the way like you've been doing for over 40 years?
I would first tell them, don't be a fool. You know what I mean? And a fool despise wisdom. You
Mm,
know what I mean? Don't be one of them youngsters because you have a little money in your pocket and wisdom may be next to you that don't have the money you have, and you don't know how to respect wisdom.
mm,
You know what I mean? A lot of these OGs, and that's why I use the words choose your OG over IG. A lot of these OGs can give you some game and share some wisdom with you, where the most important thing in life is concerned, and
mm,
that's living. You
mm.
know what I mean? What
Right,
is all the money in the world if you're gonna die in your 20s when that become a choice? You know
mm,
what I mean? So tap into a fountain of wisdom to at least have a longevity good life on earth with your riches, where you can be here for your kids and watch them grow up. What kid want to grow up and without their parents, man? That's such a disadvantage, and it's real selfish of us as parents to put them in that predicament because we have some say so about it.
facts, facts.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask this question, and then we definitely got to get to the wine, and then we'll let you go. I know you got things you have to do. But definitely, if there was anything you could change in regards to rap a lot, or maybe even life in general, I know you mentioned you read more, but what is something? Because I know you're a great thinker, and I know many people perceive you to be this, rough and tough and tumble guy, and you are. But I think that you're an introvert and very introspective. And over the course of just analyzing your life, um, what would you change, or what would you do differently had you had the knowledge and wisdom that you have present?
Well, if I could change or anything, if I could go back and change things, I would have changed some of the choices that I made where I probably could have made better choices where people would be alive today.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
wow,
When I think about that, I think about one of my best friends by the name of NC Trahan, and I got him out of the back of a police car. You know what I mean? And put him in my vehicle, and he drove across the street and got half his head blew off.
wow,
You know what I mean? It's I'm always thinking about wisdom, and if I would have exercised wisdom better in so many circumstances where lives are concerned, then I would. If I could do it again, I would execute it differently.
wow. I have to say this, Mr. Prince, that the level of wisdom you possess, that just
That's
shows that.
liquor, man.
Go ahead, brother.
No,
You're
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, with your level of wisdom, I know I can say this, but I say this humbly with your respect. I mean, you have been, what we needed you to be, and I definitely think the Creator is pleased with you. So, if you can not be so hard on yourself, that'll be good because I think that you've done more than enough. But it is beautiful that you're still striving to be better and do better. And if you could, you would even do things differently and hopefully to a greater frequency of greatness. And I think that word frequency is a beautiful word that you use and utilize. And I want to use it to ask this next question. It's evident you've been on a different frequency your whole entire life. And what made you want to go into the winery, into the vineyards, and into what the Bible would say, the husbandry,
Mm-mm.
to bring forth some of these good libations and some of this good wine that folk can enjoy from time to time.
Yeah, they were drinking on it way back in the biblical days. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But an interesting thing, I was watching this doctor in Houston, a surgeon by the name of Dr. Red Duke.
Hmm.
And I was listening to him speak about the benefits where red wine was concerned.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The health benefits where red wine was concerned. And I was moved by it because he was explaining how it's a wine, in moderation, of course, but how it's good for the heart, how it's good for the thinning, of the blood and different things like that. So that got my attention, way back then. And I, as I wind down, in some of my daily uh, activities, sometime, I start sipping a little wine.
Right, right,
So, you know, you know, with all of that going on and having the opportunity to visit vineyards in Napa Valley, I started thinking from a business perspective as well because I was talking to some of the owners of those vineyards, negotiating with them, thinking about buying some of the vineyards. So I had opportunity to look at it from a business perspective as well. And putting all of that on the scale and, coming up with the name, that I feel really complement my lifestyle and who I am, loyalty. Uh, I say, okay, now it's time to execute uh, this plan. You know what I mean? Because the name is everything to me. To be able to celebrate a name like that with any success, whether it be your marriage, whether it be a Super Bowl, NBA playoff, whatever it may be, just success in life, man. You can't do it without loyalty.
facts, facts.
Yeah.
And I think that you have a loyal following who will support, who are supporting, and who will grow in that support. Um, as we close this one out, because I want to respect your time and I really appreciate you got to come back. You got to come back. You know what I'm saying? And we got to get you on camera too. But I wanted to ask this in terms of this quote that we started out our interview and we'll close with two things that are earned. And I think that that's important because all your life you've been about these two things. And in spite of all of the money that you've been around and generated and created for so many, I think, man, you and maybe Quincy Jones have created more black billionaires than damn near anybody. You know what I'm saying? But when you really sit back and think about it, you say the two things that are earned that cannot be bought are loyalty and respect. And I think that in this decadence and these difficult and challenging times in which we see so much acrimony and confusion going on in our country, it says God is not the author of confusion, but peace. And I'm happy that God has given us you to help impart not only the wisdom and the guidance of peace, but also to be a great example of loyalty and respect. I'd love for you as we close out, can you really etch into the minds for those who might have lost a little faith, those who might feel like loyalty and respect are overrated or underrated and underappreciated, and they might become less solid, or they might lose a little bit of their resolve. What can you say to empower them and let them know that keep fighting the good fight, keep the faith, and keep doing what Jprince would do, and that's never give up on yourself. And like you used to do at the Rhinestone Wrangler, brother, you get it full, man. You know what I'm saying? And get deep.
Yeah, well, you know, you can tell a tree by the fruit it bear.
Hmm.
And I would say to everybody that got eyes to see, you know what I mean? You have an opportunity to like put things on the scale. I love to put things on the scale where my pros and cons are concerned. You know what I mean? And it's important to do that when you're trying to make sound decisions. You know,
Facts.
see what outweigh the other. And some things are facts, some things are just lip service. So you have to understand and be able to like differentiate the lie from the Memorex. So my advice to them is more is caught than taught.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Here's a track record where you can look where I'm concerned that, I've been doing this 30 something years right now. You know what I mean? I figured out how to not only make money but keep it.
Hmm.
So this is no accident. This is no luck. This consists of skills. You know what I mean? I figured out how not to die in the jungle. I was in the center of the jungle with all the wolves, the
Hmm.
sharks, the coyotes. You know what I mean? I was right there in the lion's den. I
Right.
figured out how to stay free. I figured out how to raise my kids, how to be here for my kids. So everything that one may want to become, I stand as an example of becoming that in some aspect of another. So it's important, just like I did, seek out wisdom from those that came before us. You know what I mean? That's the reason they uh, live some of the successful lives they live, and it's really a blessing, man, and an asset to even be able to have somebody that you can that fountain of wisdom because I didn't have it in the music game. You know what I mean? I had to learn from trial and error.
Facts.
Today, they don't have to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm a phone call away. It's a lot of information that's available that wasn't available back in my era. So it's all about applying and using, the wisdom and the information that you have access to. Don't allow pride to come in your way and think you by yourself and you have to do everything by yourself.
That's facts, man.
Yeah.
I want to share this quote because it really resonated with me. Dr. James Prince, that's right. Received an honorary degree from Southern University. I know you don't like talking about it, but I need to talk about it because you are a doctor and you need to be teaching classes not only there but all around the world, especially at Harvard Business School, because they can learn a lot of things from you. But you say, and I want to close with this is, but for all the dough, the gold record, the success. What's the highest respect you've ever been paid? That's easy. The mural that is, he says, that's in Fifth Ward.
Mhm.
This was taken from an article. You have a mural in Fifth Ward with your picture on it. You say that's the
Yeah.
highest form of respect. Why is that? I have that.
Yeah, because that's where I'm from. That's who shaped and molded me to become who I became. And the love I have for them, it just come first. You know what I mean? Because that's who I knew first. And I ain't forgot where I came from.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Where can people get the wine at? Where can they get the wine?
Go to my Instagram and there's a link. You can order on that link. And also there's loyalty wine
Man,
online.
man, thank you so much. Will you come back and we'll bring you back on Sunday or whatever day you're available? And we'd love to have an even more in-depth conversation to break some of these things down because you definitely can teach a master class.
All good, my brother. I appreciate you too.
Yes, sir. Much love to you. Much
Lo-
respect.
Love, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was the one and only James Prince, and we're gonna close out this particular special episode because we want to get this information to you and definitely make it known to you so that you could tap in and please check out his wine. It is from what I've heard. I don't drink. But from what I've heard, it is a wonderful and beautiful assemblage of adult libation and help you elevate and vibrate higher. We wanted to close out with this from our dear brother Isaiah Carey because he does a great job of documenting the greatness of our brother. So we'll share this and then we'll get out of your hair. Please take care of each other, love on each other, and support each other. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, I would definitely say that an empire was created.
Prince is the founder of Alot Records, a Houston-based rap label that has created some of the biggest stars in the South. From Ghetto Boy to Bum B.
Last name ever, first name greatest.
And now Drake.
Drake was an artist that my son brought to me, Jprince. And when I heard Drake, I wasn't that moved about Drake.
25 sitting on 25 mil.
His son convinced him otherwise, and with that, Drake became another major accomplishment by Jprince and his growing empire in Houston. Drake's Platinum Awards lined the walls of Alot Records and James's penthouse. Prince is a very complicated man who was motivated by life in 1986 to leave the routine 9-to-5. The laid-off bank worker no longer wanted to work for anyone, and he had a simple goal.
Watching my mother work hard, as a waitress and bring me her tips. And, with us living in the projects at the time, her only wish was to have a home.
It prompted Prince to pursue a career path where his goal was to work for himself and simply buy his mother that house. He did that 29 years ago by building Alot. But the record company wasn't enough with Prince's work ethic, drive, and mentality.
I thank God for the wisdom that he bestowed upon me to be able to diversify myself in a lot of different areas without having a degree.
And did he diversify? He created the condom company he calls Strat. Studios where some of the biggest stars in the country record. The boxing management business that has spawned greats like Floyd Mayweather. And now he has Bryant Jennings on his roster. Jennings is scheduled to fight the heavyweight champion of the world in April at Madison Square Garden, a deal Prince brokered for the Philadelphia native.
It's a great combination. It's a very good dude. Changed my life. And it's like I would have no other person to be in that position in my life ever.
It's a perfect marriage. It's kind of like, the right agent with the right ball player.
Another person who believes in Prince and his empire is super hot Houston rapper Zero. He recently dropped a new album, Melting the Crown, under Jprince and his own company, 1D Entertainment. He says the loyalty he gets from Prince keeps him coming back. It also motivates him to build his own legacy.
I'm just trying to get to a point where when I'm ready to put the microphone down, I'll be well-versed enough and, have my finances and everything to where I can go out and find that next zero.
Guiding and mentoring young artists has been the bread and butter of Prince's bank account, an account that has grown over the years with diversification and the toys. We met him at his River Oaks area penthouse, one of 6 or 7 homes, as he puts it. It's where Prince has a private elevator with a view he says puts him closer to God. In the parking garage, there were 2 white Rolls Royces and that Mercedes-Benz. 3 of Prince's 30 or 40 cars, as he puts it.
I have every material goal that I wanted to accomplish.
He also allowed us unlimited access to his 1,100-acre fully functional cattle ranch in Waller County, where the main house would stand toe-to-toe with any mansion in Beverly Hills. Inside, there's a stuffed lion, bear on the floor, and deer heads draping the walls. The ranch is where he produces and sells hay along with beef from the livestock.
I feel like I'm really balanced at this point in my life.
Did I forget to tell you he just bought a whole island near Belize, all a part of Jprince's empire. But the father of several children says his empire, his businesses, won't come to them on a silver platter. They have to prove they're worthy, and if they don't...
If I have somebody else that may not have my bloodline that's more qualified to keep the legacy going and keep the movement taking place with something I know the family need, then I'm gonna embrace them.
For someone who's looking for the secret. While Jprince, founder of Alot Records, has all the trappings of royalty, jewelry, multiple homes, and cars, what he wants the most is simple: respect. not just from family and friends, but those in the industry.
We demand that from a lot of people, but then there are those that don't respect nothing.
It was in February when Prince released a threatening recording targeting some of the biggest names in the hip-hop industry.
Oh, yeah. These is an awaken or sleeping giant. So let me put these bullet on notice by letting them know Drake is family. I'm not gonna lip wrestle with you, but if any of you clowns cross me or my family, bad news, gonna beat you home.
In hip hop, sometimes you have to speak a special language to those that don't understand a certain language.
It was a warning to P. Diddy, who, according to published reports, had a physical altercation with Drake. Then there was that warning to Cash Money Records and Lil Wayne for allegedly not paying Drake what the mogul says a Canadian-born rapper is owed under their label. Prince, who has had his share of high-profile controversies, like a federal investigation in the 90s with no charges, or the civil lawsuit for assault against him that he won, wanted to make it clear you don't touch his family.
If you don't stand up for yourself and stand up for those around you, then people will take that to mean that there's a weakness and we can do anything to you and to those that you love. And, you know, my track record and the type of person I am, you know, when a person is family to me, friends to me, I'm down with them, then I will take that stand and let that be known.
Here's something else that Jprince will not stand for. Only a week ago, his good friend, former Rockets player Steve Francis, had his very expensive gold and diamond chain ripped from his neck by someone on the stage at a Houston rap concert. Prince confirms he made one simple call to the group The Sauce Twins, who put on the concert. And guess what? Take a look at this. In a matter of days, he had Francis's chain in his hands.
This is Steve Francis' chain. And it shall be returned to him.
That's power in the hip-hop industry.
I told him Steve Francis is a friend of mine. You know what I mean? And I wanted to let that be known. This is a friend of mine, so, you know, give him back what was taken from me. And you know, they made that happen.
The soft-spoken rap mogul has a reputation that precedes him. With some, it's unbelievable respect. Others, it's admiration for his charity efforts in the community, like after-school programs and free food giveaways at the Prince Boxing Complex. And for some, to be frankly honest, it's just downright fear of the man.
Well, I don't desire to be feared. I desire to be loved if that's possible. But most of all, I just want to be respected, you know, and I don't want nobody to fear me. I'm a lovable person. You know, I'm a small guy also.
Small or not, Prince knows the heavy weight that comes with his name and his empire, the one he built in Houston that still stands tall even today. Jprince had a simple dream in 1986.
All right, so we're gonna close it out.
We're
gonna close it out real quick. But we did want to say this because he wanted me to make sure that you understand that, you know, he ain't trying to beef for nobody and all this other stuff you hear about NBA Youngboy and all this other madness. His whole thing is unification. I'm gonna put it on the screen again so you can understand because he was taught that we must believe in something bigger than yourself in order to get something bigger than yourself. Uniting our power or our own power. Let us unite together and dissolve the differences. That was something that he wanted to make sure that I etched into his mind. He had to dip out. We're going to bring it back very, very soon. But he wanted to make sure that people understand, don't get caught up in the fake news and all the media. You know, it's all about unification. His whole thing is to strengthen the black man, strengthen the black family, strengthen the community in general, and represent Houston as only a true leader and a true king can. So we want to make sure we put that out there. And also, please support his new endeavor. And salute, 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 salute. Appreciate y'all. And we did want to share this with you because he and we talked about this earlier. And this is something that he did to become very successful. And this is something that I'm hoping that you will do too, is each and every day before you go to bed tonight and when you wake up in the morning tomorrow, if you're so blessed to be able to live another 86,400 seconds, 1,440 minutes that we're so blessed with. And that's why we call it the present, because it truly is a gift to be in the here and now. And one of the best ways that we can make sure that we are doing our most efficient, effective, and expressing the kind of efficacy and acumen that will create the kind of success and achievement we know that we are destined to procure is we need to begin to do affirmations. And affirmations are simply adages, maxims, proverbs that you affirm, and you affirm it by standing firm in faith and knowing that it will come through the ferment focus of your tenacity, sagacity, veracity, and intensity to achieve. So we don't want you just to believe it. We want you to know that you will work and work diligently and do your due diligence to conceive it and bring it into fruition and manifestation. But tonight, do these affirmations as you go to bed. Say something that will encourage you to manifest the kinds of dreams in your subconscious that when you wake up, you don't wake up saying, oh God, it's morning, but you say, good God, thank you. I'm here for another morning to do some great things and to be able to fulfill and further my degree of understanding and my purpose so that we can begin to use and utilize our subconscious, which is most receptive to suggestion as we begin to get ready and prepare for bed and as we wake up in the morning. Do them while you clean the house, while you walk, while you shower, while you're sitting at your cubicle, while you're talking to your friend over lunch. Begin to think about these things and meditate upon the things that will bring not only good news and good tidings or gospel, as we say, but more importantly, it will begin to shape and manifest you in the way in which you know you're capable and competent enough to become. And the last little thing that we wanted to share with you is that just throughout the day, if you can, and I promise that you can, you have enough time to do this. Don't think that you don't. That's a negative thought, to think that you don't have enough time to do anything. No, you make time for what's important, right? So we need to take the time to visualize with positive feelings, whether you close your eyes, and of course, don't do this while you need your eyes open, but begin to contemplate and begin to ruminate upon not only the affirmation that you're affirming, but visualizing it, see it in your mind's eye and see it manifest, see it develop, see it be delivered, and begin to do this not just for ritual or for just rote memorization, but each time you do it, believe more and more and more and more that it will be able and capable to come true. And as you do this, just before you go to sleep, and just as you're waking up, don't just grab this phone and start getting addicted to Instagram and Facebook so that they program your day. No, you program your day how you want the day to go. And the key and essential thing, the reason why we're sharing this with you is to add focus and power so that you're empowered along your day, so that you are focused on not just it being payday or not being payday, but realizing that you can make the day a pay or a payday in a way in which it brings some very valuable wisdom, some essential understanding, and some critical knowledge your way, or at the very least, some peace and tranquility so that you can make your next move your best move. And we want you to do affirmations as you visualize and affirm. And then to coincide with that, the third piece of that, but it's all tied into one, is that to attract the money or to attract the things that you want to bring and manifest into your existence, using these mind power techniques, organize your thoughts. When random thoughts come your way, begin to categorize that and say, okay, No, I can't focus on that right now. I got to stay concentrating on those things that will add to my day. Many times, and I tell people this all the time, if you know you're going to be late, and knowing you're going to be late, thinking about that is not going to make you on time. What it's going to do is going to take a valuable time away from you focusing on how you can use and utilize your mind in the best way possible, not just to get there on time, because many people have died and got in accidents trying to rush. No, you need to begin to relax so that you can use your mind and your mainframe and your brain to its most capable and competent capacity. Many social scientists and neuroscientists have confirmed that when we are in stress release or stress mode syndrome from fight or flight, or from the cortisol and all of the adrenaline rushing to our brain, we can't function to our optimal level. So that we have to begin to de-stress so that we can begin to use our mind to the best of our ability. And then in doing that, you can begin to organize your environment and your affairs. And this will cause your thoughts to become more organized, and you'll run more efficiently and more effectively. I always use the analogy of a computer. If you got too many programs running, you got too many apps running, if you have things running simultaneously, all out of order, all disconjointed, don't be surprised when your computer begins to load and buffer and has issues. So you need to begin to close all of those things that are distractions and that deter from your focus and your power. So we want to share that with you at this hour to say that you are the one that you're waiting for, waiting on, and there's no more time to wait or waste. Please make sure that you go to our dear brother James's, Jprince, that being his Instagram page, and also check out the book, The Art and Science of Respect. It is a wonderful and beautiful composition of intelligence, of acumen, and greatness that will not only inspire you, but raise your consciousness to become even more effective and fire. And I'll close with this because I think that it's right on time and it's so apropos because it goes into really the reason why we want to have this conversation. And he reached out and said he wanted to do this really quickly, to begin this and hopefully do this as a series. So I'm really humbled and excited about that as well. But this is what was said about Mr. Prince is when you do business with Jprince, you're held at your word. And this is what Sean Carter says. You know, if he tells you something, he's going to do it, which is very refreshing, as Jay-Z says. And I think that that's something that we can all learn from. We can all, make a part and cooperate into our day-to-day activities and actions is that keep your word. If you say you're going to do something, then do your best, do your due diligence. Don't fall for the distractions or become a derelict and a hypocrite. No, keep your word. And if you, in keeping your word, can begin to do things and say things and add words that add value to the lives of others, then my dear brothers and sisters, then we are doing our reasonable service. So I'm hoping and praying that these few minutes that we shared with you were of some value. And if they were, don't hesitate to press the follow and the like and the share. Facebook be hating. I'm not going to sit up here and fake. But you know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to elevate and vibrate higher in spite of the negativity that we face. So we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it other than loving on somebody with the good vibrations and the higher elevation that we know that you're capable of. So and tomorrow, please check out my dear brother Ray's show, Men's Talk, and all of the other great things that are going on in terms of elevating our mind and our spirit to become bigger, better, and brighter.